We are in a battle between good and evil, heaven and hell, and the devil wants to see you fall. The devil wants to see you fail. He wants to see you in hell with him. Hey, my name is Jackie Francois Angel. Welcome to Ascension Presents. Today we're going to talk about the tactics of the devil. In reading Ephesians chapter 6, it says this. It says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." Other translations say the tactics of the devil. "For we are not contending against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against the powers, against the world rulers of this present darkness." If you want to win the battle, you have to know the tactics of the devil. You have to know the arrows that he's going to throw at you. And truthfully, the devil has been using the same three tactics for all of time. He actually even used them against Jesus in the desert when he tempted Jesus. And so what are those tactics? They're still the same today, but as culture changes, the little nuances of how the devil uses the tactics are going to change. So the three tactics are listed in 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. In 15, it says, "Do not love the world or the things of the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passes away, and the lust of it. But he who does the will of God abides forever." So, these three tactics, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, are the same three tactics that the devil always uses, but they look a little different in different cultures. So, in our culture today, let's go through first, number one, the lust of the flesh. It's not difficult to see, and probably even we know that pornography is a major billion-dollar industry. Pornography actually makes more than the MLB, the NBA, and the NFL combined. It's a billion-dollar industry, and the average age that people start, especially young men, start looking at pornography is between 9 and 11. And Bobby and I have done ministry with both men and women, and we know that it is that young. And what happens is that we start to be trained in seeing people as objects for our own use instead of as persons to be loved. We know the greatest two commandments are to love God and your neighbor as yourself. And pornography is absolutely not loving other humans. It's exploiting them, exploiting their bodies. And it was attributed to Pope John Paul, saying the problem with pornography is not that it shows too much, but it actually shows too little, because it only shows a body and not a body and a soul. And it also doesn't take a genius to see that you could watch movies, you could watch TV, you can listen to music and see that sex has become something that is so profane that it is, you just do it on the first date. It's no big deal. And it's not that sex is bad. In fact, sex is so good, it's holy. Sex is supposed to unite a husband and a wife for the procreation of children. It's supposed to be a foretaste of heaven, the ecstasies of heaven. And the love between a husband and wife is a foretaste, it's a sign of Jesus's love, Jesus the bridegroom, and his love for the bride, and how they become united in heaven. So of course, the devil is going to twist something that is so beautiful, and he's going to profane it. Because the devil is not a creator. He can only twist that which is good. So if you want to see what is sacred, just look and see what the devil has twisted and made profane. And I remember hearing that the Vatican exorcist said, it's not that lust is the worst of the sins. In fact, pride is, but lust is the easiest way for the devil to get in. It's the easiest because we are sexual beings. Sex is a good thing. It's to help procreate, to bond us to our spouses. And we all desire to be united with another. So it's easy for the devil to get in. It's easy for the devil to twist that and to twist our desires, which are good and holy, to twist them and to look at pornography, to have sex before marriage, to do things with our bodies or the bodies of others that we know are not good. They are not loving. So that's number one, is the lust of the flesh. Number two is the lust of the eyes. Now, what does that mean? And I see in our culture, the way that the devil, they loves the lust of the eyes is that we just want to be comfortable, constantly comfortable, having more stuff, constantly more stuff, and just have what everyone else has. You all know in scripture when Jesus said, it is harder for a rich person to get to heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. If any of you watching this have done ministry with people who are wealthy and people who are poor, you know that this is true. Why? Because I personally did a camp where we had a group of kids from a very wealthy area, and we had a group of kids from a very poor area. And you just saw the difference. The kids from a rich area were like, well, my daddy gives me everything. Why would I need God? And the kids from the area that was not wealthy, they were like, no, we need God. Like, people, when they have money, become self-reliant, and they're like, I don't need anything. I can do everything myself. But when you don't have a lot, you realize that everything you have comes from God. You are dependent on God. You can see this. Jesus knew this. And so that's why I just see, like, the devil wants to keep us comfortable and distracted. Just keep scrolling on social media. Don't think about your problems. Don't think about your suffering. But suffering actually is not a bad thing. Suffering can be something that can bring us closer to Jesus, the foot of the cross. We become united with Jesus in our suffering. This is why even when people hit rock bottom, you see so many conversions happening. It's when they hit rock bottom, and whether it's alcoholism, whether it's suicidal, like you see when people hit rock bottom, they're like, I had nothing left. I need something more than myself. And that's actually the first step of AA, the first step of the 12-step program, is acknowledging that you are powerless and that your life has become unmanageable. And step number 2 is you come to believe that a power greater than yourself can restore you to your sanity. There's a lot of people who are just not going to see that they need God at all. So I see that as a tactic of the devil, just to keep us comfortable and distracted from any suffering, any just kind of in this place, this like interesting place where we think we're completely self-reliant, we don't need God. And number 3 is the pride of life. Pride is the worst of all the sins. In fact, humility is actually the foundation of all the virtues. But pride is where we really think that we are God and God is not, that we can choose what is right or wrong. And we see this in our culture in a lot of ways. We see the selfie culture is all about me. It's all about myself. The narcissism where we're just like, it's all about me. It's all about my likes, my comments, and the world revolves around us. Whew, you guys, I'm not saying I'm above this temptation. I have to know the arrows that the devil's going to throw at me as well to guard myself against the devil. And the devil uses, especially like social media, like this constant thought about self. One of my favorite quotes is from C.S. Lewis. He says, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself less. So it's not saying like, oh, I'm a horrible person. Actually, that's false humility. Humility is knowing the truth about yourself. It's knowing these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. But humility is thinking of yourself less, thinking about others. And actually, I think this is built into parenthood. You are constantly serving your children. You are constantly having to serve one another. So if you don't have kids or you're single, please like find a way to serve others, to get out of yourself, because the devil loves when we are selfish, when we are prideful, when we are vain, and it's all about us. And we have to learn how to serve others, and that will get us out of ourselves. That will grow humility. In fact, we are called to be a gift of self. So how can we stand up against the devil? Well, read the rest of Ephesians chapter 6 and putting on the armor of God. But another great scripture is in James chapter 4, verse 6. It says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you of double mind. So, draw near to God. Submit yourselves to God. And the devil will flee from you when you stay close to God. And it's good to know that the arrows and the tactics that the devil will use against you. And you can hold up that shield of righteousness. You can armor yourself with the armor of God, the sword of the Spirit. You can put the truth, it's like the truth around your waist, your loins. Your loins need to be girded in truth, not in lies. You need to know yourself and know how the devil is going to attack you if you want to win the battle. So I hope this video helped. I hope you learn to know yourself better and how the devil will attack. And I hope you draw near to God, because he will draw near to you. God bless you guys. Pray for me. I will pray for you. We'll see you next time.